8/23/14. Theos Billiards. Yeah, it was not only that big, it was huge. Welcome to another edition of the Main Event Rant. And this rant has nothing to do with wrestling, first of all. I'm going to get that cleared up. This has a lot to do with what took place at Theos Billiards last night. You know, of every night that I've ever been at Theos Billiards, I've been a part of everything that was ever huge or spectacular. 7/16/10. Theos was done and finished, but was reborn several months later. And then the surprise, the fact that for the first time in history, that a band called the Periwinkle Massacre would go ahead and play on stage at Theos Billiards. And it would land on Mondo's birthday, and more importantly, my birthday. It was the first of its kind. Because of all the times I've been at Theos, of all the times I've been there, there's never been a live band to play there until that day. And ever since then, there's been a lot of great bands that have shown up and have played at Theos Billiards. Well, I can name the list a mile long. Edema had played there. Periwinkle Massacre had played there. Taproot had played there. Saliva had played there. Straight Line Stitch have played there. You can name any band you want to. Killamora, they've played there. The Labeling Theory, they've played there. Memories in Broken Glass, they've played there. Shattered Sun, they've played there. But last night was very historic in many, many ways. Now, this is me not going to cut off a bunch of bands because I have to. This is me giving you what you want to hear. You see, critics and other people alike want to go ahead and start cutting bands down because they feel a need to be all hypocritical. That's how it goes. See, me, I keep it real. I tell you exactly what a band is like, how far they'll go, and see the distance they go from where they're at to all the way to their futures. So, for the first time ever, I go to Theos, and the shocking moment of the night at Theos Billiards that night was when I appeared. Oh yeah, I mean every person that has said this over and over again has said, "Oh, Furman's not gonna show up. Yeah, he's gonna hype up a show. He's gonna tell everyone about the show and everything else like that, but he won't make an appearance." And I admit, the Main Event had thoughts about not being there. I had thoughts about it, but you know what? I thought it'd be nice to go ahead and walk in and check it out and see how it goes. And that's what happened. Main Event walks in a little before 8 o'clock. Run into my good friend Gilbert. We shoot a few games of pool. And then whoever decided to bring my sexy little kitty cat, Jasmine, back to Theos, I want to say thank you for doing that. Thank you very much for doing that. Because not only is she a very good friend to the Main Event, she's also unquestionably one hard-ass worker, beautiful on the eyes, and whoever decides to fire her, I will kill you. Well, not really, but I will kill you, nonetheless. But welcome back, Jazz, and I hope I see you a whole lot more at Theos Billiards. And also, to another old friend of mine, another blast from the past, Brittany. Oh yeah, well there's been many Britneys that have worked over there for a long, long time, but this one I hadn't seen in many, many years. And it was very, very good to see Brittany after all this time. Still looks good, still looks hot. Her hair's a little bit shorter, but that's all good. I dig that. When I made my appearance, everyone was in shock. For the first time, the main event had an opportunity to see Mariachi Muertos play. And I tell you what, to you guys, you kick fucking ass. You have the combination of an El Nino with a Limp Bizkit with a little bit of, I would say, Linkin Park, and possibly like, I'm going to say SPM or maybe some Kid Frost. That's just my opinion. You combine that stuff and you put it into a metal platform and you got yourself something that's going to work. And one of those guys in the band, his name is Mark Anthony Pantoja. He's one of my longtime best friends. And to see him up on stage is amazing. To see him right there play guitar in front of everybody, for him to let out his aggression that way. And I say let out his aggression that way because I've known Antoine for a long, long time. For him to go out there, he played his heart out. He didn't go on stage just because he could. He didn't go on stage just because he was making money. He went up on stage playing that guitar and playing his ass off because he could. He's that good of a performer. You can be, entertained by the face paint. But don't ever underestimate a man that has been through a lot throughout his entire life and knows the music like no other. That's why he's considered my best friend. I've known him for many, many years. Since the days of South Park, since the days of Fenn Elementary School, since the days of Nesbitt. Antoine's been through a whole lot. And for him to be a part of this band makes a whole lot of sense. It fits, it's good, you guys kick ass, and you guys need to be noticed just a whole lot more. That's my opinion. And then the combination of Free State, the Periwinkle Massacre, the labeling theory, with an extra added bonus, and you got yourself a band called Of Serpents and Saviors. And I admit, when I first walked in there, when I first saw them, when I first heard about this new combination, Hector Juarez, another best friend of mine, I call him Homestar Runner. He's a man that I've known for a long, long time who has played with bands like Abrasion, Screwface, The Second, Third, and first coming of Free State, to the ever-legendary Periwinkle Massacre. And I said that there's no way that that guy is going to stop playing. He has stopped playing for a long, long time, but yet he jumps on another band and it becomes successful. That's how it goes. When you add the addition, when you add Matt Wood to the guitar playing, when you add Gabriel Gonzalez to the guitar playing, and that's awesome. You add a newcomer. In my eyes, he is a newcomer. Jeremy, who in my eyes looks like Busy Bone. I've said that many times before. He's got potential. He's got places he's got to go. He's good with the guitar. He's performed in front of people. He's good, and he fits perfectly with the band. And then when you got the combination of all that, along with Hector, and along with another member of Team Headbanger Incorporated, the best drummer on the planet, John Luna, you're going places. And even though they played a little set, they did it, they've gone far, and they're getting noticed. So I say, you guys rock. You guys got yourself on Facebook. All we got to do is pick up the platform a little bit higher. And I do have a video recorded for it. All I got to do is know what the song's called and then put it out on YouTube for the world to see. That's how it goes. Then my good friends, Shattered Sun, went up on stage. The free beer was coming along. We drank it. We had a good time. And, you know, it's kind of funny that Marcos, even though he reminds me of Roman Reigns as a Shield, he reminds me of another guy on stage, you know, just the same performance and the same deal and everything else like that. I just can't seem to put my pick on it. But I'll get to that in a moment. Shattered Sun went on stage, performed their ass off like they've done all the time when they've gone to Theos, and everyone loved the living shit out of it. Hell yeah. They did good. And then for the first time, the main event gets a chance to hear Memories in Broken Glass. And they performed Neon Earth, which I thanked them for. Justin, I thank you for. Because that song right there, I've said it many times, when you play that song, when everyone hears it, it's not just some badass song. It's out of this world. That's what it is. All you got to do, if you ever hear that song, all you got to do is go to YouTube or get their CD, Recode, and look for the song Neo Earth. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed at all. So besides them, and I got to admit, Darkness Divided is pretty badass. And I knew they somehow came from San Antonio, and I didn't think they came from there until they mentioned it. They did a badass performance as well. But it's none compared to what happened that night. I mentioned Marcos reminds me of a certain individual. A certain man that walks in there. You know, we've had a lot of celebrities come over to Theos, me being one. But I never thought I would have the highest honor of meeting a man of high potential. This man was a part of the entire thrash organization. Was a part of groups like Metallica, like Slayer, like Anthrax and Megadeth and so forth. And for him to be alongside one of the legendary record producers to have ever known Metallica and Slayer and everything else like that was amazing. Johnny Zazula was at Theos, one of the biggest record producers in the world that have made bands like Metallica, like Slayer, like Anthrax, and of course a band you guys probably know quite well named Fozzy. Oh yeah. But none, and no disrespect to Johnny Zazula. I dig him. I love him. But when you have someone of this high caliber to come into Theos, this large man walking in, long hair and all, you are in awe. But when you look in front of him, you can't believe your eyes. Because when I said that at 8/23/13, or I'm sorry, 8/23/14 at Theos, it would be that big, and it was exactly that big. Because ladies and gentlemen, of all the guys I've seen that have ever walked over to Theos, this guy is the biggest of them all. And I'm talking about the lead singer for one of the most legendary groups, one of the most legendary thrash bands that have ever come out of San Francisco, known as Testament. Lead singer Chuck Billy was at Theos Billiards. The main event had the honor and the privilege to be there in front of him, shook his hand, and told him, "Welcome to Corpus Christi." He shook my hand and said, "Thank you." And then, me, my best friend Gilbert, my best friend Roman, we all had an opportunity to go there and shook hands with Chuck Billy. And not only that, we were there to take a picture, all of us together. And no doubt others were taking pictures with Chuck Billy as well. So all I can say to you, Chuck Billy, is thank you for coming to Corpus. And I say on behalf of everyone in Corpus Christi and everyone at Theos, we say thank you. To all the bands, I say thank you for putting on a good performance. To all of the people that were there to see that performance, thank you for showing up. And no doubt, next time, we're going to go bigger and farther than we've ever can. Why? Because I can and I want to. Any questions? Enough said. Practice what you preach.